higher education sector and form new relationships while strengthening existing ones. To hold a side event, exhibit, sponsor the event, book a speaking slot, and for further information, contact ransford@aau.org or ndako@aau.org. AAU, the voice of higher.
You're welcome to the Midweek News on Aau TV, your trusted voice of higher education in Africa. My name is Jemima Adeladem Doche.
And my name is Isabella Tatahinapa.
In this week's headlines on higher education urged to establish entrepreneurial universities. And in health, 1 dose of HPV vaccine effective.
And in discovery, university students enhance home security. And also in sports, ITTF applauds South Africa for historic World Table Tennis Championships. Please stay with us for the news in details. We'll be right back.
African countries have been urged to develop new universities that are entrepreneurial from their onset to counter challenges posed by unemployment, hunger, and vulnerabilities of health risk, climate change, and the competition of scarce natural resources, a call made by the United Nations, backed by the Economic Commission of Africa.
The United Nations-backed Economic Commission for Africa, ECA, has developed a research strategy that countries can use to assess whether the existing universities are entrepreneurial in character. The strategy could also be used as a guiding framework while establishing new universities on the continent. ECA researchers envisioned an academic structure whereby the university's traditional teaching and research mission would be integrated with a third entrepreneurial mission, which is engage and impact to generate knowledge of social and economic relevance. According to Victor Conde, a scientific affairs officer at ECA and the study's lead investigator, the proposed academic structure was based on a survey conducted in 13 universities where entrepreneurship has been integrated as a major part of their mission and strategy. 7 of the 13 participating universities were from Ghana, 3 from Ethiopia, and 3 from South Africa. The selection cuts across public and private universities in all 3 participating countries. For African higher education to transcend abstract academic knowledge, ECA has proposed universities should have the capacity to span teaching and research into business incubation and startups with stakeholders through science parks and shared product development. Towards this goal, ECA highlighted 7 broad areas that should be part of the guiding framework for establishing entrepreneurial universities in Africa. According to the study, these critical areas included leadership and governance, organizational capacity, people and incentives, entrepreneurship development in teaching and learning, and pathways for entrepreneurs.
Still on higher education, the future of thousands of current students and recent graduates at Ugandan universities is in danger after it emerged that courses that are pursuing or that they have pursued or completed are expired. And according to an analysis by Monitor, various academic programs tenable at Uganda's public and private universities listed on NCHE website shows that almost all the degrees that are awarded or plan to be awarded to the graduates who were enlisted are invalid.
The current crisis in Uganda comes after the University of Bristol in the United Kingdom reportedly declined to admit an alumna of Makerere University who had studied a Bachelor of Biomedical Laboratory Technology to pursue an advanced degree. Responding to the student's application, the UK-based university indicated that it accepts applicants with a bachelor's degree from a Ugandan university with program accreditation as the institution. The letter added that the entry for the Bachelor of Biomedical Laboratory for Makerere University indicates that this program was accredited on 26th March 2010 to 26th March 2015 and it expired in 2015. Therefore, the university is unable to accept the qualifications. Ms. Shamim Nambasa, a pharmacist and Makerere University's 87th Guild President, took to Twitter the current predicament of some Ugandan graduates. Her tweet indicated that graduates of Makerere are missing out on various opportunities because the courses they studied expired and their accreditation has not been renewed. She also called resolution of this glitch as soon as possible. So far, Uganda's public and private universities listed on the NCHE website show that almost all universities in the country are at fault, meaning the degrees they awarded or plan to award to graduates who enlisted as students after the courses expired are invalid. The report indicates that up to 2,260 courses being taught at the 47 public and private universities expired 8 to a dozen years ago. The report indicates that up to 2,260 courses being taught at the 47 public and private universities expired 8 to a dozen years ago, raising questions as to why the institutions decided not to comply. A senior council official who spoke on condition of anonymity hinted that students who undertook the courses before they expired are safe. However, those who graduated with or are offering courses that are expired might not have their qualifications recognized.
So that is, I must say, that is a sad story coming from the Ugandan University, seeing that most of the courses that the universities are offering are invalid or they have expired and need renovation by the NCHE, which is the National Council for Higher Education. I believe that, first of all, I would say that students in Uganda, are facing this crisis, knowing that they can't move forward with the degrees that they have obtained from some of these universities. And most of, Makerere University was mentioned as one of the, it's one of the biggest universities in Uganda, and then it was said that that is the university whose courses, a lot of its courses have been.
It is going to be the issue or their future, or how exactly. Face. And also, as a university, if their senior program is unaccredited, meaning you don't meet the standards, not only international, even national, you don't meet the standards. And we have bodies who make sure they evaluate the programs, make sure that they meet the required standards, the quality assurance, and then they pass you. You can run this program for a period of this time. And because we are moving forward, technology is moving, everything is developing, within some period of time, you come back, they evaluate again and make sure that you still meet the standards, and then you go on or you restructure the programs. But here lies the case, most of the African institutions are not doing that, and students are facing issues.
That's very true. I even have a little problem with the NCHE, seeing that they, in assessing their their courses for the universities
in that year, or you sanction them, sue them. I don't know. Do you get it?
Right now, I don't even know what the students in question are going to do. It's very pathetic, I must say. I don't really know how. But then I want us to also talk about how the NCHE ensuring that universities meet all their requirements in terms of admitting new students.
There is a question ensuring, because I don't think they are doing it. If they are, this situation wouldn't have come up. Well, because according to the story, it happened in 2015. And how many years now?
A long time.
Yes, so I don't think they are doing their
so their rules are even questionable.
Yes, it is questionable. So what they need to do, as I mentioned earlier, is to make sure that within a period of time, they visit the institutions, make sure that whatever programs that they are running meet the standards. Also, they should ensure, because as a student, if I'm a student.
Body, we would like to also say that put in a check so that at every academic year, you have somebody from your side visiting the various universities to check on the various programs that are being run during that period, so that we don't have issues coming up where students will go to school and at the end of the year or at the end of the course, they will come out with certificates that are not accredited.
So that is a good one from Edith Larry, who I said is the membership officer of the Association of African Universities. And I believe that whatever comment that she gave as to as a student, if you want to apply to a university, have a knowledge about the university, their courses, and what it entails. I mean, what their whole course entails. And I believe that such incidents will not, come forth your way. So that is the end of the story, and health news is up next.
In health, emerging evidence suggests that just one dose of the HPV vaccine has huge implications for the fight against cervical cancer and is as effective as 2 or 3 doses. This comes as a result of studies in Costa Rica and India, where scientists in both countries tested efficacy of both the single and multiple doses of the vaccines. In both cases, researchers later examined women who had only received a single dose. The results revealed it was still remarkably effective.
The human papilloma virus, better known as HPV, is one of the most common sexually transmitted infections in the world, as it often circulates without causing any disruptive symptoms. However, HPV is capable of causing genital warts and various cancers in both women and men, and is driving the recent rise of throat cancer in men. Even though vaccines that prevent HPV have existed since 2006, experts
Stay with us for news, Discovery News after the break.
Job in higher education institution on the African continent? There is no need to go looking. The Africa Education Jobs Board will deliver available jobs to you via our platform. To start your search, visit our website. On our website, you will find variety of job postings classified by the sectors and professions they belong to. There are sections devoted to variety of career-related materials, as well as information on African countries. All information you require, based on the job description and requirements, are accessible on the site. If you are looking for a job in higher education on the continent, use our dedicated portal, www.africa.edujobs.com. For job market updates, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at AF Jobs Board.
In our Discovery News, Kujo Anthony and Stephen Adu, both students of the Kumasi Technical University, are making waves with their innovative technologies that assure users of maximum security in their homes. Kujo Anthony has developed a smart smoke detector system that automatically shuts down the electrical load of an entire building just by getting in contact with smoke, whereas his colleague, Stephen Adu, has introduced a home automation system backed by maximum security.
I just completed Kumasi Technical University. I did HND, Electrical and Electronics Engineering. I'm the brain behind the design and construction of smart smoke detector. The smart smoke detector system is a control board with a smart detector system which cut out the power in a building after the smoke detector system has detected smoke in a building or house. The smoke detector was built with a smoke sensor and Arduino board, and there is some basic components which were used. The Arduino was programmed to 41%. So after the smoke has reached 40 or above 41%, the system will shut down. So the smoke detector was built in connection with the Arduino.
The first version, the version 1 that have been developed, it works using a local area network. That means you have to be within the Wi-Fi proximity of the controller, like around your house or inside the house, to control these loads. For example, if the user is having, let's say, 10 lamps and then 16 sockets, for example, in the house, then the app can be customized to be able to control all those loads simultaneously. So you can control these loads from your app. People who are not given authorized access to access certain things through the app, the password protected security can restrict them from accessing them and can also help with parental control of certain loads.
We'll be back with news on sports and entertainment. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Sports and Entertainment segment. My name is Mamiekwa Otuakwanyame, and in our sports news, the International Table Tennis Federation has lauded the South Africa Table Tennis Board and all stakeholders for hosting the historic World Championships. After an absence of more than 80 years, South Africa hosted the World Table Tennis Championships this Sunday in Durban.
The International Table Tennis Federation, ITTF, has lauded the South Africa Table Tennis Board, SATTB, and all stakeholders for hosting a historic World Championships. South Africa became the second African country to stage the championships in Africa since 1939 in Cairo, Egypt. ITTF President Petra Solin and ITTF Group CEO Steve Dayton expressed their delight at the successful organization of such a grand event. Solin emphasized the significance of Africa hosting the World Championships after 84 years, hailed it as a historic moment that motivates the younger generation of athletes on the continent, and cited Omar Ass's accomplishment in reaching the quarterfinals, the second African to do so in history. She also put together a fantastic event. This tournament has been broadcast to over 150 countries, signifying just how huge and massively global a sporting event it is.
Now in entertainment, Ashake has announced details of a new album and shared the first single. Work of Art will be released on June 16th and is preceded by Amapiano, a collaboration with fellow Nigerian artist Olamide. Work of Art will be the Nigerian Afrobeat singer's second album in less than a year, following 2022's Mr. Money with a Vibe.
Them know steadily, heavily. I'm happy, I know.
Ashake, the face of YBNL, debuted his fascinating new track Amapiano, the first taste of his eagerly anticipated sophomore album. His label boss Olamide adds an added level of perfection to the song in the outstanding piece. Ashake provides listeners a preview of what to expect from his upcoming album, Work of Art. With Ashake's own approach, Amapiano celebrates the Nigerian fusion of the well-known South African genre of the same name. It creates an appealing musical experience by engulfing listeners in the contagious fusion of upbeat beats, bright melodies, and catchy hooks. The music is further elevated by Ashake and Olamide's natural chemistry together, resulting in a dynamic collaboration that is certain to cause pure eargasm. Ashake's third official release of the year is Amapiano, produced by his dependable partner Magic Sticks. It follows the release of his previous song, 230. Ashake's partnership with Magic Sticks have proven to be a winning formula, with the duo consistently delivering exceptional productions. Ashake's dynamic vocals and contagious melodies are expertly complemented by Magic Sticks' fascinating backdrop in the new single, showcasing the seamless collaboration between the artist and producers.
I'm telling y'all, better get the memorandum. One thing I know, I'm a piano, all of my piano.
Thank you for sticking with me for the sports and entertainment segment. My name is Mamiekwa Otuakwanyame, and business news is up next.
Staff from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and Kenya have come to an agreement that might lead to the release of more than $1 billion in new funding, relieving strain on the country's government finances in the largest economy in East Africa.
Staff from the International Monetary Fund (IMF) and Kenya have come to an agreement that might lead to the release of more than $1 billion in funding, relieving strain on the country's government finances in the largest economy in East Africa. The Extended Fund Facility and Extended Credit Facility Agreement, which were approved in April 2021, underwent their most recent assessment, according to a statement released by the IMF on Tuesday. A new agreement under the Resilience and Sustainability Facility was also included. In order to give Kenya more time to meet all requirements, fund staff and Kenya officials agreed to extend the Extended Fund Facility and Extended Credit Facility arrangement by an additional 10 months to April 2025 and to increase the amount of money available to Kenya under those facilities by approximately $544 million. Additionally, Kenya will get access to $544 million through the Resilience and Sustainability Facility, which is intended to support climate change adaptation and resilience. The IMF stated that a total of $3.5 billion had been committed to funding for Kenya under the three facilities, and that its executive board would likely consider the staff-level agreement in July. The consequences of the worst drought in 40 years and mounting debt obligations have put a pressure on Kenya's finances. But IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva said earlier this month she didn't expect the country to go into default.
Stay with us for international news after the break.
I'm inviting universities in Africa to the Conference of Rectors, Vice Chancellors, and Presidents of African Universities that is coming up in Windhoek, Namibia, between July 4th to 7th, 2023. The theme of this current VIP is promoting excellence in African higher education. I am appealing to Vice Chancellors to ensure that they are registered for this conference and also ensure that they come to this conference with their Deputy Vice Chancellors and their registrars as well as deans of their various colleges. Let us come together to promote excellence in African higher education. Thank you.
Welcome back from the break. And China's first domestically manufactured large passenger jet has successfully completed its maiden commercial flight. State TV showed the C919 rising into the skies above Shanghai, heading towards the capital Beijing early on Sunday.
China's first domestically manufactured large passenger jet has successfully completed its maiden commercial flight. State TV showed the C919 rising into the skies above Shanghai, heading to the capital Beijing early on Sunday. It was built by the Commercial Aviation Corporation of China, COMAC, in the hope of